Friday. It's 3 minutes past 11. A very good morning. Welcome to the Midday Show with me, Ifunaya, here on Lagos Talks 91.3. Fridays are, for some people, always the best because we start with an absolute bang, and I'm talking about the people's perspective, where we get to dissect and take a look at pertinent issues from your perspective. And as always, my unequivocal co-host, Seun Kuti, is in the studio.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Hey. Seun, I haven't seen you since so. 2 weeks.
We saw a bit on live last week, but it's not like
physical.
Touch me again. Touch me more. Hey.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, guys, welcome to today's edition. And yes, we have a lot to talk about. Two major topics today. We're going to be taking a look at the arrested looters, as we know what happened in Nigeria, not just Lagos, over the past few weeks, starting with the NSAS protest and the sudden and sad end of the NSAS protest on the 20th of October, with some of the protesters actually losing their lives and some getting injured at what we term the massacre of the unarmed protesters. And then we did see that there was a lot of looting happening in different parts of Nigeria, where some of the citizens found some warehouses that house the palliatives, the COVID-19 palliatives, which they expected to have been distributed during, the heart of COVID-19 in Nigeria, and that's especially when there was a lockdown nationwide. And of course, that particular conversation, we're going to be dissecting it because I believe the persecution of some has actually begun. And then we're going to talk about the social media bill. And this is riding off of certain things that we heard, quote and unquote, Honorable Desmond Elliot say during the State House of Assembly plenary, where he was speaking about how damaging social media has been, especially in the hands of the influencers, the quote-unquote motivational speakers. And we're going to be taking a look at what has been said afterwards, because he has released an apology. He has released a video as well. So we're going to be taking all these things one step
Desmond
at a
how to
time.
act too blockbuster in one day.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, now wow.
That's terrible.
Phone guy.
Let's start off with the looters. I'm just going to shed a little bit of light on that because you might already know what's going on. So the looting happened last week. We did see a lot of people, in fact thousands of Nigerians, finding a warehouse. I'm not really sure how the information about the location of the palliatives went out to the general public.
It is the disgruntled politicians in the ruling party that they're sending it out to people. They send me the address for the one in Ikeja.
They sent you the
they
address?
sent it to me.
Whoa.
To see if I can mobilize the people to...
No.
It's not a bad thing. I mean, I wanted to, but then
they sent it to you.
They don't put enough army for the place.
Fantastic.
I drove past there to check.
Hey, you wanted to go check? Oh my gosh. Anyways,
I drove past there to check.
Before getting deeper
the amount
into
of army there, I guess to just say,
wow, so obviously they're already prepared.
But maybe if I talk to the army, like, because in the other videos,
so can we all,
army was moving their own truck. It's for everybody.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so before getting into that, because I have a lot more questions to ask, especially about that.
This will have camcorder here. Don't let Fashola in this studio.
Hey!
Look at this one.
That definitely
going.
wasn't a shade.
If you see my people online, you need to see this camera. Look at this evidence here. Look at this. Look at this. Can somebody call Fashola? We have it.
I can't do. Anyways, before getting into that as well, yes, we did see this looting taking place in different parts of Nigeria in their thousands. And later on, we saw law enforcement swooping in to carry out their investigation to identify those who were involved in the looting, and they were able to arrest some people. As of 2 days ago, we did see that they arrested over 600 people and counting. And just recently, we did see that the Plateau State government began the prosecution of over 300 suspected looters and arsonists in the state. We've seen different videos, several videos from different media platforms of some of these suspected looters. A lot of them alleged suspected looters right there on the floor. And I wonder, is this a thing where you arrest suspects and then you just place them on the floor? Is that a Nigerian thing?
Yeah, and it's actually an abuse of the human rights of the suspects. Because they are innocent until proven guilty. but you decriminalize them
by putting them on
putting them
trying to break their spirits,
showing them to the public in a criminalized position.
Already,
you're already creating public
perception
about them. You know, which is going to, like, one way or the other, affect a fair trial.
Of course.
You know, so. You know,
so
we have a lot of I don't know. We don't have, my network is not strong enough. That strong. So in Plateau State, I don't know. But people in Plateau State that need legal help, you know, they can contact my organization, Nigeria Resistance, .org, through Facebook, Instagram, whatever. DM us, and we'll see if we can get, because there are a lot of lawyers helping right now. We're helping people out in Lagos too.
Of course. So Seun, just as regards this story about the looters. I've seen that there are still people who are on the perspective or on the stand that these suspected or alleged looters ought to be prosecuted. But what are your thoughts, giving a country right now where the government is trying to, maintain law and order and is trying to ensure that the laws are being enforced, given a situation where, these suspected alleged looters saw that these palliatives that ought to have been distributed weren't distributed, and they went to do what they believe ought to have been done by taking what they believe is rightfully theirs, not necessarily seeing it as a criminal act. And so in a case where the government is still bent on, we have laws, we have rules, no sentiments attached, what do you think, given the situation where these people have been arrested, some of them are on trial at the moment, some, they're still saying that their family don't even know where they are, their family don't even know that they were arrested, and they're still trying to figure out what exactly they did. Given this situation, Seun, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, let's not forget how Nigerian police operate investigation. It's not as if they actually investigate. They do what they call raids. People that fit the description. They just go to neighborhoods and just, whether you are involved or not, they pack everybody. This is the reason why our prisons are full, of awaiting trial suspects, alleged people people have been in prison 5 years, longer than the time that they would have served if they were found guilty of the crime they were even arrested for. And they have been in prison awaiting trial. There are more people awaiting trial in our prisons than actual prisoners. So that's why I wasn't surprised that there were attempted jailbreaks when because people are in there that have done nothing for years. They are the most people in the jail. Go and check any prison in Nigeria. Go and check the population of the prison. First of all, it's overpopulated. Then the amount of convicted prisoner can be maybe 400. Awaiting trial, 2005. Kilo day, and they can be there. So many people just go to court, poor people, right? Let me tell you what they do when they go to court. Because they know that if you don't say you are guilty, they'll remand you back to this jail. And you might not come out to court for 2 years.
Wow.
So maybe just say that they are guilty and take the sentence. Because they are poor, they can't afford lawyers. So that's why we are putting out lawyers out there, to try and people have many lawyers I know are going to the magistrate courts in Lagos. Yeah. I think it is the duty of all the lawyers in Nigeria, at least at this moment, to defend these people, to go out, to every court and at least give them they have the right to proper defense.
Of course.
So they're not just their lives are not just destroyed over some bag of rice. What we have in this country, people that are stealing billions of naira and nothing is done. I mean, they just convicted Kalu of corruption, only for them to tell us that the judge that convicted him is the wrong judge to sit on the case, so he has to go home a free man. I mean, so all this energy, that they are spending, using towards the so-called looters,
exactly.
Where is the same energy when it is the elites that are doing the looting? In this country, over in 2008, there was the bank loan scandal, the so-called credit crunch, where all the big men in Nigeria that created AMCON, that they had to go and buy all their bad debts back. Everybody robbed the bank in this country, looted funds from all the banks. Erastus Akingbowola, where is he? Is he in jail? Nobody is in jail in that class. Everybody gets a slap on the wrist. They go home and they continue living there. Shubomi Balogun, what happened to him? Nothing. They just said, oh, okay, fine, leave the bank. Don't do banking again. Whereas millions of dollars gone. And what do? They use our own money, taxpayers' money, to defend these thefts. So, for example, Skybank now, before they finally went under, they first gave them 200 billion naira in 2019, 2018. They give them 200 billion. They say they were protecting the money of the depositors so the bank doesn't crash. So I ask, who is the depositor and who is the taxpayer? We are one and the same. You are a depositor, you are a taxpayer. They are using taxpayer money to defend depositor money, while the person that stole the money is free to go to his house and sleep. You know, but then we are shouting that some people are... See, no matter the violence that happened by the poor people of this country, first of all, we must classify it. There were people that raided because they were hungry. Then there were the political thugs, right, that the government sent out to actually create mayhem. And why did our government choose mayhem? Why did they choose the breaking of stores, the burning of government buildings? Why did they use that tactics after curfew? Because you have to remember that for over 10 days, there was protest, there was no curfew, there was no violence. The government called curfew, put the people in the house. Then suddenly, their own people were given the free hand to run riot all over town. You understand? Because many of the poor people in our neighborhoods will not destroy our neighborhoods. And as you can see, when the indigenes of the neighborhoods stood up to defend their neighborhoods, nothing happened in those neighborhoods. Ijora, for example. Not the Lagos Island Oba, that one was the people of Lagos Island. Don't let anybody lie to you that he's Igbo. They don't like him. It was a reckoning for him. It was a reckoning. Don't let anybody lie to you. You know, me, I have family from Misaleko. So it was a reckoning. They don't like him there. You know, and many of the police stations that were burnt, they killed people. It's not only in Lekki they killed people. Or really, the DPO killed 2 people first before they went to burn the... Even in this Isaleko, Buteru that they burned the police station, they killed people. It was after they buried the 2 people that they killed. On the way back from the burial, they touched the police station and went to the Oba's palace. Because him gone a former police, in case you have all forgotten. And it was one that apparently, they say it was one that called the DPO that came there and used violence to disperse the crowd. So for me, what point am I trying to make here? Why did the government send political thugs to destroy the property of the
Allegedly.
Why did the political thugs come out to destroy the property of the middle class? Because they know the middle class Nigerians, they put things over people. They've conditioned us. It's not because we don't know any better. We just think it's the right way to be. But it is not. So we put things over people. On the one side, we're saying people have died. There's somebody say they burned my shop. I mean, what kind of argument is that? Somebody has lost their life. We need to put ourselves over things. This is the lesson we must learn from this, because the government of this country, they know, the elites of this country, they know that once you affect the livelihood of the middle class Nigerian professional, he will turn his back on the people. I mean, what if my father did the same thing after they burnt his house and threw our grandma out of the window, burnt all his cars? What if fella said, I'm not fighting for the people again, no? They've destroyed my house.
Okay, Seun, let me just ask you this. Because just you saying that, it seems like it's going to be like a catch-22 for business owners who have put blood, sweat and tears to be able to build their business. However, you're saying that, in a state where maybe one of the tools or the weapons is to divide and conquer, they can create a detour, a distraction by touching the lives or the livelihoods of those in the middle class, so that we stop talking about the people that have died and rather start talking about the businesses that have been looted.
Exactly. And they say the violence and all of that. So one of my, one of the older celebrities that I respect, was talking, and I said to him, you can't tell me whether it is right or wrong to loot or burn. This is not a right or wrong question. This is not the perspective that we must discuss it from. It is a cause and effect issue. You understand? This is a cause and effect issue. It is not a right or wrong issue. You understand? If these people were educated enough, for example, they know that we are not their enemy, that to some certain extent we are one. But we gone, what have we done? They don't have public education. We believe that private education will save us from ignorance until ignorance came to our front door. So what has this taught us? That aligning with the oppressor to send our children to private school as the solution to the educational problem of Nigeria will not save us or deliver us from the scourge of ignorance. You understand? So Nigerian professionals have to understand, and middle class, that it is through us that the oppressors get to the people, because we are the bankers that launder the money. We are the civil servants that make sure the country doesn't work. We are the oil workers that make sure that they don't get the dividend of their petrol. We are the teachers and lecturers and vice chancellors that destroy the university. We are the workers on the economic board. You understand? That make sure that proper education is inaccessible to poor Nigerians. We are the army. We are the police. We are at every level the instrument that the oppressor uses to oppress the poor people of this country. And when they go around destroying the livelihoods of the poor, they did it in the Gomu, the artist village, demolish all their property. We don't complain then that people's property are destroyed. They will go to Oturumagbe, destroy all the property there, chase out all the poor people. We don't say anything. It's business as usual. So when is it only our own property that matters? The property of the poor that we assist. We are the contractor that will go there with the bulldozer. We are the architects that will design the new area that they've stolen from the poor in this country. It's not as if they even compensate them. So what do we expect from all those things that we do? So we are the way that the oppressor get to the poor. So when the poor are going to come for the oppressor, they're going to come through us. Wow. There's no escaping that. The only way we can escape that is if we now change our allegiance. We now start aligning with the people. The people now become our allies. We come off our high horse. You understand? We look at our things that were burnt, our things that were destroyed, and say, okay, fine. We are sacrificing this for a better Nigeria, for a greater Nigeria, and we move. Because all of us, as this is one thing they don't teach us. So we forget that we are all children of sacrifice. That your shop you think you have. For you as an African man, in this Nigeria, in your own land, to have a shop in that area, somebody died, paid the blood price for that door to be open. None of us as African people, only us, African people, were never invited to the table of capitalism for anything. We were just commodity. For us to achieve anything in this system, somebody had to pay the blood price for you. To go to school, to vote, to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be a car, to drive a car, to marry your wife, to be a citizen in your own country. Somebody died. Not people, thousands of people died for that to happen. You are not self-made. We are not yet at Uhuru. Those people died and opened the door for us small to enter. So those of us that have entered now, we entered there and think it's by our own merit we are there. We forget what is happening outside. Okay, sure. We forget that our duty is not only to just sit down inside the room, but to bust that door wide open for the rest of our people to come inside.
Okay, so this is quite profound, and I believe it takes a certain level of enlightenment and awareness for people to come to this type of knowledge and understanding. In a situation where right now what people want is law and order, what is the way forward? And aside that, if people, because there are people that have outrightly said,
it is property owners that want law and order, and we are the minority.
So in the case where people want law and order, what are we doing moving forward? Because there are people that have said, and just listen, and this is from different conversations that we might have heard, or even people calling in to say, listen, I understand the situation that Nigeria is facing at the moment, but I don't want to be a hero. I'm just here trying to help my family and help my life. So in a situation where you're saying align with the people, yes, you've lost a lot, but people are still saying, yeah, so we've lost a lot. We've lost what maybe our parents before us suffered for us to inherit, and now we've lost it because there are these thugs or political thugs that were unleashed, and they're like, I don't want to be a part of this. In as much as I'm in Nigeria, I've been able to, on my own and with my family, forge our way ahead, and now we're being roped into this because you're saying align with the people. You know, it's sacrifice that has to be given. What about people that don't want to make that sacrifice?
Well, the choice has been taken away from you. Right? The choice is no longer in your hand. You understand? Now the choice is being made for us by the ancestors. That this is a moment in history. You understand? Franz Fanon says, every generation out of relative obscurity must determine its purpose. And then decide whether to fulfill or betray that purpose. We are at that point in this generation. We are at that crossroad. So it's our decision. Do we want to betray or fulfill? You know, we have the opportunity now to begin to not do the elite thing of expecting the poor people to come to us, but of actually building the bridge and going to the people, listening to the people. Like me, I always say to my friends, why do NRM members have to evangelize? Why do they have to always go and talk to people and go to these areas where people are not politically woke to give information? I said, you know, because it is important that we no longer expect the people to come to us. Seun, for example, I might talk all day about how bad Nigerian transportation is, but I've never ever been inside Molue. I've never been inside Molue. So it's only somebody that has been inside Molue that can now really tell me how bad Nigerian transport is. You understand? So this is the conversation. We need to start that conversation. I wanted to start it before they did the curfew, you know, because I call it the power mic. And we're still going to do it now. We're going to start taking it to all the neighborhoods, you know. And basically, did you protest? Yeah. Why? Why is Nigeria? 2 minutes. Everybody, 2 minutes. Talk. We'll take drinks. We'll begin to build this bridge. Because Nigerian people must begin to organize now towards something different. You know, it's obvious.
Now, regarding the looters that have been arrested,
At
the moment, what happens to these people that the government? Because if you take a look at the reason or the rationale behind why these people were arrested, it is legal on the grounds of the constitutions and the laws that govern the land. It's legal because these individuals, they broke into the warehouses and they took the palliatives. Now, moving forward,
it is also illegal to hold those palliatives.
So what defense do we have against the government, or do these looters have against the government, especially if yes they were found guilty?
As long as we are trying to be punitive about this, it shows that the elite of Nigeria, even after everything that has happened these past 2-3 weeks, have not learned anything. This is not the time to be punitive. This is not the time to want to be the angry strong man and the Jagaban of Lagos. This is not the time for that. This is how I know that these people are not really interested in the development of this country, or really in the elevation of the poor people of this country. They are not interested, because this is the moment for us to self-reflect, not point fingers at poor people, to see what those with opportunities, those with the power, what we've done wrong to make our people like this. Look at people rushing food like animals. This is 2020. And don't tell me that it's only... See, go to England when their government, 7 years ago, there was massive looting all over London. George Floyd's death in America, didn't they touch the police building? They touched the police building in Portland. Looted all the stores. I mean, how do you want poor people to express themselves?
Anyways, we're going to take some calls now.
We just have to understand that this is not the time to be punitive. It's the time to reflect and see that these people are like this because we have ignored them. We've separated them from their commonwealth. You know, the real problem is those people taking those things from them, that are not giving their children the opportunities to go to school. One woman actually said something that really touched my heart. It was so profound. It touched me so bad. She said she was elderly. She's definitely older than me. She was in her 50s. You know, she was there with a little boy. And she was doing an interview. She said her mother told her that she will make it.
Wow.
And her mother was working hard all her life till she died. And now she is here, earning 24,000 a month. Her son cannot go to school too. She cannot pay his school fees. You know, even in the public school, she cannot afford to send him. And she's looking at him. Is she going to be telling him, say, am I going to also tell him that he's going to make it tomorrow? That's why she was out to protest. So imagine what you people are doing to people. 24,000 naira a month. What is this?
Anyways, I believe what we have seen, what we have known, and what they still keep confirming is that this government, you know, and governance in Nigeria in general has lacked empathy for so many years.
Completely disconnected.
Because like you mentioned, they should rather be looking at the cause and effect, because they don't want to ever accept. I don't know if it's because they see it as a taint on their tenure. They don't want to accept the reason why we have the citizens going in mass to go and loot like robbers, the palliatives, is because they have not created an enabling environment, because they are further driving in poverty, this being the poverty capital of the world. And I don't know that they're ever embarrassed about the international view of the way Nigeria is.
Why? Because we invite them to our parties. When they come, we all prostrate and kneel down. They don't enter inside a room and everybody turn around and start stoning their bottle or whatever they are drinking at them. You know, or they enter into a room and everybody walks out. You understand? No, it's true. They are able to be the worst and the best of society at the same time.
Wow.
So this is the reason why, you know, and everybody is saying we want youth leadership. See, they will give you the youth that they have trained. Is all these youths that they have trained? Look at Desmond, Elliot. Is that what you want?
We're gonna get to him.
No, I'm just saying. This is how they have young people. When Wike entered government, that he became commissioner, wasn't he 33? Now he's governor. Is he even 60? Is he 55 years? Rotimi Amechi, how old was he? Dimeji Bankole, how old was he? Listen, it is a mentality thing, it's a
Of course.
consciousness thing. Your nation cannot be greater than your consciousness. If we want Nigeria to be great, we want to elevate Nigeria, we elevate our consciousnness. Nigeria's level like this is at the level of Nigerian people's consciousness. Go around these politicians and see the young people. They have loads. PA, this one, SSA, Tolu Ogunlesi is not our mate. SSA of Buhari.
Now, just to touch on
But
that.
when they are with these people, go and hear what they say. They talk.
Just-
You are the greatest.
just
You are
to
doing
touch on
everything
this a
great.
little bit,
Anybody
Seun.
that say you're not doing anything is a hater.
You had mentioned about Nigeria resistance, saying that you go around to evangelize, to spread the word. And I believe right now what the NSAS protests did for Nigeria is to create a platform to bring attention and awareness to people to understand that they need to start being a part of governance. Now that people are paying attention, because what happened in Nigeria, and especially here in Lagos last week, is one that people will not forget easily. Now that they are paying attention, it is time for not just Nigeria resistance, but other people to use this as a platform to start enlightening people. Because you mentioned it is a consciousness thing, and if these people are not educated, if they're not informed, if their mindset is not transformed, it means that this will probably be the same thing and it's going to be an unending cycle.
I say, and even those of us in society that are so-called civilized, look at all our politicians. See, the reason why poor Nigerians use violence to express their anger is because rich Nigerians also use violence to express their anger. This all comes from the top down. I'm telling you, look at our senators. Once they have one small misunderstanding inside the most hollow chambers of our democracy, what do they start doing? They start fighting, throwing chair, and also they destroy the whole building and they renovate it again with our money. Is that not the cycle? What election have we held in Nigeria that it wasn't violent? I remember one election in Kuti State that they were fighting in court. Tinubu was fighting for Fayemi in court. Somebody brought his leg to the court at the court during the election. They cut his leg off. So he brought it as evidence to the court, the severed leg. This is the Nigeria you're living in. So, oh my God.
If you want to send a tweet, it's at Lagos Talks 913, hashtag the people's perspective.
So
You
I
have to
was,
complete that.
I was wondering, like, I was saying to people, like, if you say because of violence, the protests were illegitimate, then no election in Nigeria has ever been legitimate. Because every election we've been, even, okay, forget official election. NURTW chairman election in Lagos State. How many people died? Can we count? Can we count? Did that make the Lagos State government not recognize Emso Luomo as the winner and support his association?
And we
Please.
haven't seen anyone be persecuted.
Exactly.
as
So
regards that.
listen. We the people, we must come off this train.
All
Come
right,
off this train.
So let's take some calls. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 0809 234 5913, 0809 222 0913, 01-515-0913, 01-515-1913. Lagos Talks. Good morning. Who's speaking, please? Turn off your radio.
How are you? Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good. I know be Seun. I just Seun. I never meet Queen.
Okay.
If I meet her, she won't give me sir. I go
My name is
dodge.
Peter Monte. I'm calling from Somolo.
How you
Alright,
doing, my brother?
Let's hear you quickly, please.
Now, you know that for me, as far as I'm concerned, their first assignment should not have been to run after the looters, according to their description. I think that triggers the actions of the looters should have been our first port of call. Because I found out that right over the years, 2017, 2019, and police brutality, the government is not paying attention to that. Because the government itself is also brutal to the people. I want to say that if that has been taken care of, what we are talking about today should not have come. Now the government itself are starting brutalizing the people. I mean, not going about arresting people randomly and displaying them on the television as criminals. Do you think these people are happy? You have to leave these people who are innocent and they are being brandished criminals, have opportunity tomorrow. They will not go more houses, they will not look more, they will not score more than what they are doing now. Our government is not ready to change Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much for your Take Lagos talks. Good afternoon. Good morning, Rama. Good morning. Who's speaking?
Good morning to the big bed itself, Seun Kuti.
How you doing, my brother?
My name is Ogunda Solani.
All right, let's hear you,
It's
Kuti.
just that our government does not value us, does not care for us. When you know that you can buy private tickets, you leave the road. You know that you can have big generator, you take electricity. You know you can go abroad for healthcare, you leave the hospital. You can send your children abroad for education. You leave school. Imagine the only thing they're trying to fight against the people, they know that it's poverty and illiteracy. That when they not give the people education, they will not know their rights. So for a senator should be saying that they are going to take square meals in the protest. They don't want us to eat 3 square meals again. These people are just heartless. Thank you. God bless Nigeria. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
This is coming from, let's start with this, Adegboyega saying, evidently with what we have witnessed a few days ago, there's a wide gap between those in governance and those who are governed. Those in governance are far from today's reality. It's difficult for them to align with the demands of those that they govern. Young Entrepreneur is saying, if you're a Nigerian and you want a new Nigeria that works, kindly tune in and listen now to the people's perspective. This is coming from Ishola saying, yes, George Floyd's death, so many police cars were burned by the citizens and still the police went on their knees and begged them. But the reverse is the case in Nigeria. This is coming from Mickey Shola saying, Oluwa Seun, you be your popsy pikin. I'm proud of you, bro. We shall make this country great again together, bro. No shaking. This is from Maestro saying, it's a shame that these people in power are so brutal towards the masses. Sometimes I feel like weeping, seriously, because all this nonsense from these so-called power-hungry politicians.
Aluta continue. I love that. As you walk, Aluta continue.
Lagos Talks, good morning. Who's speaking?
Hi. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello. Yewande. Good morning.
Yewan.
Good morning.
Okay, Yewande, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear you.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to appreciate Seun and all his input.
Okay.
And I would also say that the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems we have is basically the inconsistency Lagos State government has shown in the past few days. The governor is always running to TV stations to explain himself. He gives us a story today, comes up with something else tomorrow, apart from the many options we have. But basically, I'm just hopeful that 2023, I hope our memories don't fail us, because it's 3 long years. So I hope it doesn't happen that, the youth forget all things that are happening at the moment. And I hope we remember how they have treated us, how they have oppressed us, how they have shown the highest sense of responsibility. Because nobody wants to say, I did this. I'm sorry for this. Everybody's shifting blames, everybody's denying everything. But basically, I just want to say that I hope we do not forget all the things that have happened the last 2 months. For speaking out loud, like yesterday, we know how the program go. I appreciate Kulu and Sadiq on this Lagos talk. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you, Ibuka. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Like Seun said, these legislatures, these policy makers, this government, let them come to the street and meet me in the marketplace and see how my daughter is so messed up. Let them come to my house, see how my house is messed up. Let them come to my village and see. Let them come to my road. The other day we were talking about the big airport, and they denied it. Let these people. I listened to Lagos House of Assembly, what they were saying. The woman from the Desmond, they went to their constituency. What they were able to pick was boys that smoke. What social media. They didn't see downfall. You talk about downfall now. They
don't go see them. They don't see them.
Talk about how they suffer Okada, Keke, and they travel outside and get good education. This country will be better, and that's why we are educating ourselves. Our consciousness has woken up to see that these guys are a joke. That we need to get good governance for ourselves. Thank you, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Ibuka. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much. All right, it is 11:38. We need to move on to the next story that we're going to be talking about.
Was Yewande the first girl to call this show?
She, well, not
to call
not
in.
ever.
Have
Not
we had
ever,
a
but
female?
today, I'm sure we've had a female.
Have we?
Yeah, we should.
Have we?
Huh. I don't know.
Yeah, one day.
I don't... Well, the first female that we've noticed who called in. So yes, we can start with that. But I don't know that.
But I mean,
no female has called
I've
in
thought
at all.
about it. Like, I've never had any.
Any female call. Okay.
Have we?
I don't know. But best believe that we have females listening.
Yeah, we've had
the
Kama day. The day we did the Kama
topic.
Then it came to the Prayer Warriors. We had like 5 women that came to tell me off on the show.
Oh yes, I remember.
Yewande is the first woman to call to support me. The first 5 that called was.
We're open to everyone. All right, guys. Let's move on to the next story. Let's talk about Desmond Elliot being the topic of focus yesterday. So we're going to start off with this. I'm going to play an audio for you just so that you hear exactly what he said.
Listen. There are some people you don't like from afar.
In case,
when they now prove you right.
So
wait,
just like, okay. In this case, is that you did not like him from afar?
I've never liked him.
Oh really? I don't know that.
I've never met him. I've never liked him.
Like him.
In fact, when he now started running for politics, I knew that from afar what I was saying about him was fact. And now the ancestors have helped me
so you're a good judge of character.
to show him to the world.
Fantastic. Anyway, guys, listen up. So a few days ago, and I spoke about this on The Dish, a few days ago, a Twitter user came out to accuse Desmond Elliot for pushing for the social media bill in the plenary session in the State House of Assembly. Now, Desmond Elliot released a video afterwards. Now, this video did not deny or confirm that initial allegation. What he did say was they should verify before they begin to, spread whatever news it was. And then, lo and behold, this video finally came to light. So I'm going to play the video for you to listen to the audio.
Wait, before you play it,
okay.
Please, no verse. Young people in politics in Nigeria, stop taking advice on how to lie from old politicians.
Fantastic.
When they were learning how to lie, there was no social media.
Exactly.
You are in the social media age. You need new advisors for your lies.
You need to change your technique.
Exactly. Okay, now.
Change your strategy.
Go on.
All right, guys. I'm going to play this for you right now.
Speaker, we need to address social media.
It's good to make fun of oppressors.
All of these are making the narrative that we are seeing today.
Wow.
Except we are joking with ourselves.
Except.
Social media, yes, no good.
I said.
Has its negative.
Negative.
Oh my God.
Let me first thank you.
Oh, I do.
The wanton killing and carnage that happened.
Oh.
I'm done.
It's just so minor. Let's just first put that aside. It's so minor. People die. It's so minor.
The abuses from children.
But the abuse they gave me was major.
I ask myself.
Death is minor. I'm helping people translate this picture. The death of the poor is minor. The insult to the rich, that's major.
People having the effrontery to enter an upper palace.
Imagine!
The staff of office.
Away!
Culture is gone. Mr. Speaker, in the next 5 years, there will be no
Look at a man speaking English in a Yoruba land assembly. Telling us our culture is
The
gone.
youth is not only those who do the peaceful protest. Those who have looted.
You people are delusional.
They are youths as well. Mr. Speaker, pregnant women went into malls, picked things and went away. When shall we change this narrative? I put it to all the celebrities out there. All the motivational speakers.
Thank God I'm not a celebrity.
This is the only country we
Because
have.
I'm just a famous musician.
When anything happens,
Yes, now celebrities
What
are
is our common
celebrated.
thing?
You see them on
That
billboard.
here.
Me, you see me for billboard.
please, celebrities, please, social media influencers, stop the hatred already.
We refuse to.
Okay.
You have a means constitutionally
This is the
to
best part for me.
change government.
This is the best part
It's
for me.
called your P.
All right, he said it's called your PVC. So Seun,
It's called our vote.
That's what he's saying. Your PVC, your.
You know why these people like PVC so much? Because it's contract. You know somebody's contract.
Fantastic.
It's a contract.
Fantastic. Now, before that's another conversation for another day.
Everybody talking about PVC, but we're talking about voting.
Let's focus on this one. It's quite interesting the way Desmond Elliot spoke with so much confidence and so much passion, which did seem like arrogant, honestly speaking. And it's quite disheartening and very disappointing. A man who is still referred to as a quote-unquote youth, speaking that way about the citizens that voted him into power, calling them children. Now, before we get deeper into this, because a lot of people are still wondering about, we saw that as well. People are wondering about, this social media issue, because that's another conversation that has been brought to light. So let me just, establish certain things. So last year, in November 2019, right, there was a push for the social media bill. So the idea behind it was that the government said that it is very imperative to control the type of stories, especially fake news, and news that incites violence being shared on these different platforms. And they decided to push for the social media bill. Fine. When the social media bill started its reading, the first reading went through the second reading, then information about the details of the social media bill came to light that was very alarming. People scrutinizing and assessing the provisions of that bill did see that it was allegedly plagiarized. And what they plagiarized was a similar law from Singapore. Now, we know that in terms of this freedom of speech spectrum, Singapore ranks very low. So using that as a platform or as a
there is
blueprint,
no freedom of speech in Singapore.
Exactly.
Absolutely not.
So using that as a blueprint for a country that is a democratic nation and that it is part of our constitutional rights to have freedom of speech, of course, that definitely raised a lot of eyebrows, and it's very alarming. So when that happened, they had to shelve this. And so any time that the social media bill is brought up, of course, questions are being asked because the public believes that it is a tool that the government wants to weaponize in order to always control the narrative or to change the narrative. A few things just to make things much clearer to you. One of the provisions that they, made available in that bill was things like, if you are spreading, false information or information that affects the public health or public security, information that incites violence or what have we, that you're going to be fined about 300,000 naira or you'll be sent to jail for 3 years. Now the question
is it only violent statement online that is a crime? Or violent statement on ground, because it is Meyeti Allah.
This particular bill, this particular bill is focused on online information, right?
Okay.
Now, some questions that, of course, were asked, which I did ask as well, was fantastic. You want to regulate social media, which is something that is advisable to an extent with the type of information that is being passed via social media. However, with the provision of this particular bill, is where the questions are being raised. Because now, who is the determinant of fake news or authentic news in a country where for the past how many days, over a week now, since the massacre of those innocent protesters in Lekki, we are seeing 3 different narratives or several different narratives. A different one from the state government with someone telling us something different
from the army,
with the army coming out with a totally different narrative, with the presidency not even acknowledging the fact that it probably did happen, because we didn't even hear when the president was speaking during his speech, he didn't even refer to the Lekki massacre. And so it's different narratives.
Tinubu's narrative too.
Exactly, saying that it was as a response to the government, the Lagos State government imposing a curfew. Then they decided to turn off the LED screen. So there are different narratives. So who really is the judge of what is fake news or not? When there is an eyewitness report that is different from the official report from the government, does that make it fake news? Hence the reason why a lot of people are pushing against the social media bill. I just thought to just establish that, because people might be wondering, isn't it a good thing or not? Now, just regarding what Desmond Elliot said, people were utterly disappointed and disgusted, I should say, that a guy who people thought was at least one of the youth representatives in government, yet again is towing the path of others in government that have disappointed and have stolen the commonwealth of this nation.
As you can see, that this is the party line. He's simply towing the party line. They've told him what to say, and not only him. All the Lagos State is a APC state. Is there any PDP politician in this assembly? I think there's one.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. Maybe he has even put to APC. Who knows? But obviously, you can see that he is regurgitating the lines that were given to him. You understand? It is imperative that this is the sign. So we see that there is a complete disconnect, right, between the people and this political class. Now, before I go on any analysis of this issue, it will be important that we know that all what people are saying right now, we might be disagreeing with it.
Of course.
But this is what will go in the official document of Lagos State during this period.
Wow.
This is what they are saying now is what history will record.
My goodness.
Except we change the narrative. We all might disregard this and say whatever online and in our meetings or whatever. But unless we take power from these people to change the narrative, this is the official stance of Lagos State government. Now, this social media bill has been going around for so long, but I want to let the government of Nigeria know that in their efforts, because what Desmond is basically saying here is, poor people's children have no right to speak to me. First of all, black people don't have the right to express themselves at all. That's the first step. Now, poor blacks, even less so. These rich Africans, they've seen themselves as pseudo-whites. They've Europeanized themselves. You know, they're already Europeanized. They don't see themselves as Africans like us. See, when you say SARS is harassing people, young boys on the street, you think it's because they are criminals. No. Nigerian police, SARS, they roll with criminals every day. How many big 419 Yahoo boys in Lagos have police escorts? Once you have money, I mean,
sure.
In fact, our politicians, if police do not like crime, there's no way they will be near our politicians in this country. So, it is not really the criminality of these people that the police go against. It is how they express themselves. You must not express yourself as a black person. So, Rasta, dreadlock is a form of expression. They attack you for it. Tattoo on your skin. You don't have to be a criminal. You get tattoo, they attack you. Why? Because you're expressing all this. The poor of Nigeria must always be silenced. So this is why social media annoys them. This is why social media hurts them in a way that you are wondering, Kilo Dagon, what is all this? Because many people come and insult me in my social media. Him gonna is complaining that people insult. Has he closed this page? Has that made him leave social media? No. Because we know its usefulness. We know that it is only a minute number of people that troll and do all these things. You know? So it is actually a silencing of the people that they are after.
Wow.
They are looking for different ways to do it. They've silenced us mentally by depriving us of education. They've silenced us physically by not giving us good opportunities and healthcare. They've silenced our dignity by making us homeless and hungry. Look at Nigerian people, man. I see these past few weeks, I was sober. I was happy that, okay, the people are reclaiming what is theirs, but to see the amount of people.
It's very disheartening.
Look at our girls in Lagos. I mean, I live on Allen, which is one of the #1 red light districts in Nigeria. You know, every day there are at least 50 new prostitutes coming on that place. Everywhere, if you come, when actually everything is shut down now, kind of. But everywhere, full of all our girls cannot live a dignified life. All our boys cannot grow up in a dignified way. Yet people are overseeing all this, and you feel like social media and what they say to you is what should be bothering you. It shows that it is actually the silencing of our people is their real goal, not the development of their people. They want to silence you. That's all. That's all Desmond proved today. But now let me warn these people. Nkrumah did not liberate me with social media. Fela did not have social media. Amika Cabral did not have social media. Govara did not have social media. All the great people that liberated us in this Africa did not have social media. If you take social media away, doesn't mean we will not take you out of power. You understand? I mean, it does not relate. You have to understand that. it might make the job harder, but it doesn't make it impossible. Just know that. I know that history will never forget you. You know, that's what I have to say to them on that.
Before you said it's just very clear that the government weaponizes poverty
and ignorance,
and just even proving that was one of the lawmakers, Sanai Agumbiade, when he made a statement as though he believed that the government was being threatened by the fact that the poor that they kept as poor are now being empowered by individuals that decided to, you know, organize the protest, feed these people every single day during the protest, seeing that they are now eating 3 square meals. Because he said people that could not afford 3 square meals are now eating 3 square meals. The fact that he mentioned that during a plenary just keeps on confirming the fact that indeed poverty is being weaponized, and the fact that he begins to see it as a threat that these people that we shut down are now being emboldened and empowered.
It's fact.
Is an issue. And you know what, Seun, because you know we keep saying that the elites have to align with the people. And I must say a big kudos to some of the people that were very pivotal in helping the running of the protest, especially people like the Feminist Coalition, some of the girls like FK Abuja. And the reason why I'm saying this is this. Remember, we're always calling for the elite to do something about it. And I know that one of the things that they need to do is, as the unscrupulous members of government, they've weaponized poverty. What we can do is to instrumentalize poverty in the sense that we know that people are hungry. And one way to get the people to listen is for you to empathize towards what their plight is, which is the fact that they are in poverty. And one thing that they did during this protest was the fact that when these people came out to express their constitutional rights, they were also aware that these people were hungry. And said, we're going to feed you. Not only are we going to feed you, we're going to give you healthcare if you need healthcare. We're also going to give you legal backing or legal representation if need be. And so these individuals, dare I say, are part of the elites, maybe the types of backgrounds that they're coming from. I feel like that is a sign or a glimmer of hope that indeed it starts from things like that. And if people begin to mobilize and begin to show their support with these people, indeed, we will liberate the people. Indeed, we will begin to help out and build the Nigeria that we need, because they have identified one of the banes of the people, which is poverty, and they ensured that they address that need during the protest, which was one of the reasons why I believe these unscrupulous politicians felt threatened, because they're saying, listen, these people that we kept poor, they're now being emboldened and empowered. They're going to these protest grounds every single day and they're having a 3 square meal. That's a problem. And the fact that he brought that up during the plenary just goes to show that indeed a whole lot happened during this protest. It's quite sad, it's quite disheartening, but I believe that is a glimmer of hope.
It's baby steps, and a lot of people in this our generation, this is their first political act. So kudos, and there's no need to nitpick or do anything. But what I would say is that the next time we call the Nigerian people out for any reason whatsoever, we all must be there with them when the soldiers come. It's a shame that that's the only thing that I just can't, that the people were left alone when the soldiers came. There was nobody there that called them there with them. That's just the only thing that was sad. Because me, I was in Ikeja, I didn't come to Lekki throughout. I just stayed in my neighborhood. And 3 times, the first 2 days, the first day we repelled thugs. That guy that with the cutlass that everybody saw in the he was allowed outside the cave. Yes. We repelled them.
Have they found that guy, by the way?
We repelled them. The second day, I wasn't there the first day that they repelled them, but the second day I was getting to the protest site at night. Because that first day was when I decided to start going out to protest. Because I wasn't going out to protest in the original. So it was that first Friday that we did our show last week from the protest ground. So during the day there was no chaos, but at night they came again. We repelled them. I was there for that one. Even during the so-called looting, they wanted to come and loot Allen. If you pass through Allen, they've broken all the street lights. It was the poor people of Allen that defended Allen.
Oh, wow.
So that's how I noticed that many of these people that were destroying neighborhoods weren't from that neighborhood. So where are they coming from? Who sent them? These are the questions that were necessary. So in our fight with them on Allen, they were saying, we'll be K2 boys, so we'll be K2 boys. So they are coming from K2 to come and loot Allen. If anybody's going to loot Allen, it is we, the Allen poor, that will loot Allen by ourselves. Please, thank you. You go and loot your area. Everybody loot your area. I beg. So we defended our area. We let them spoil all the government lights. They spoil the
you are
traffic light.
Oh my gosh.
What do you want to do?
Let's take some calls.
They spoil all the traffic lights, but we didn't let them enter our lane.
Fantastic.
You know?
Defended Liverpool. Lagos talks. Good morning, rather. Who's speaking?
Good morning, Ifya. Good morning to Seun.
Good morning.
Yes, this is Ademi.
Alright, Ademi, quickly because we have a few seconds left.
Very
Let's hear
quick.
you.
Okay, the thesis of Seun is that it's a cause and effect sociology or action and reaction, which is science. And I agree, both action and reaction are wrong. But we all have to forgive each other. Because, we've wronged, or we are wrong on both sides. And then we have to be able to look the other way, because this was a situation that was caused not spontaneously at that point, but because there was an action that gave rise to it.
Exactly.
So let us forgive each other and move on.
I mean, that is exactly the spirit I was talking about. And it's not from us to government, it's from we, the middle class, to the poor.
Hello.
You know, we don't send them for government.
Good morning, you
Good
speaking.
morning, the big bird, Annie.
Good morning,
Hi,
no.
good
My
morning.
name is Leo.
How you doing?
I do right to Baba. I want to first of all thank Desmond for his speech. We have heard him. And his apology to is well accepted. We will visit him when the time is right, come 2023. And I'm sure by now you should know that he's not coming back. That's good for Brother Miller as well. And every other public official who are speaking. That is all I have to do.
Thank you, my brother. But I don't hear.
It's so funny.
They don't book our votes down. They don't book her down.
A comment that I saw someone say, well, freedom of speech is allowed, but freedom after the speech that you give, that's the one we're not going to give you. So they're telling Desmond Elliot, well, you're free to say whatever it is that you want to say, but afterwards, yeah.
Don't worry, we are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. You want to be collecting jumbo salary, Abby?
Oh my goodness, let's take this one. Lagos Talks, good morning, who's speaking?
Yeah, good morning. Happy to come back. Sorry to
Alright, we have to take another call. Lagos Talks, good morning, who's speaking?
Good morning.
Alright, let's hear you quickly.
First of all, I want to say that Desmond Elliot was really bad and everything. I schooled in Lutz and a friend of mine died last year, so it came on the news, was stabbed to death on his convocation day.
My goodness. Let's just
In front of Lutz. And he was a medical doctor in Lutz currently doing his internship 3 months. The day he was just paid. Because they don't pay until like 3 months.
wow. Okay.
And he also falls on his convocation day. Today, Lutz is still dark as hell. And every time we get stabbed, chased by markets and everything.
Okay.
Desmond Elliot was talking and was saying the youth and all those stuff. What exactly? For a pregnant woman to go and you should condition and we'll see that environment and go out.
That's so true. The fact that he even used that as a reference
I
point.
said the guy.
It's extremely
No,
disheartening.
you can tell that.
How cold
you
is
know,
your
you know
heart?
what? No, his heart is not actually cold. He's actually a weak guy. Because you could tell that he wanted to speak something, but he had been told to say something else.
Wow.
So he was trying to reconcile the two.
All right.
But it's impossible.
We need to wrap this up because the news has to come on right now. Kachi is in the studio. Seun, it's always a pleasure having you
Yes,
here.
real news, oh, not this fake news. Me and if you have been giving.
It's not fake news now. we give authentic news.
Authentic
News from the people's perspective.
They tell
That's the most
you, you know,
important.
they this Africa.
Okay, Seun, before saying goodbye, any words?
Yeah, let's keep the energy up. Everybody, if you're not doing anything right now, that means nothing is being done. If you, as you're listening right now, you're not doing anything, that means nothing is being done. Let's organize 2023.
All right, guys, you can reach out to him at Big Bird Kuti on Instagram. Yeah.
The real Seun Kuti on Twitter.
And the real Seun Kuti on Twitter. You can reach out to me on Instagram and Twitter at IFY_I. That is IFY_I. Till next week, Friday, from 11 a.m. on the People's Perspective. See you. Of course, coming up next is the World News coming to you live from Amija.